Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti.
And don't you just love how I brought in our studio audience today? Those are my friends and family, y'all. They're here to clap it up and celebrate this great girlfriend magic that is happening here on the show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy.
Tag some friends. Let's get some great girlfriends on. Let's have a whole session today where we sit at the feet of Mikki Taylor and just soak up all the goodness, because Mikki's going to be coming on in a few minutes. And I am so excited about this conversation. We're going to talk about the heritage of beauty. We're also going to dive into her newest project. Mikki, and all those covers, like all those iconic Essence covers.
Hi, my darling. How are you? It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, look at you. What joy, what joy, what joy. Oh my gosh, you just fill my spirit tonight. You really do. I love you.
I'm so happy to see your face.
Likewise.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing so good. I'm good and I'm thankful. It's at the same, both trains are running at the same speed.
Yeah. You stay good and thankful. I like that. You're very steady and good and thankful. That's like a great space to be.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, good and thankful.
Mikki,
indeed.
you are like, what is this glow? What I mean, I know what it is, but it's like a thing. Like you are just glowing.
Oh man. Well, thank you. I just think that's how faith shows up. I really do. I don't think that if faith doesn't define your life, then there's just no point. Just take your sign down. Don't be singing. Don't be hollering, man. You just got to stay in the praise and grace of what it provides. And so, I own my joy. I bring it with me, and it's deep-seated in faith, which never runs out.
Oh, I know. It's so good.
That's it. That's all it is.
It's all in your pores. It's in your veins. It's in your cheekbones. It's just like, it's all of that. Mikki, I tell you this, and I was telling them before you jumped on, I just grew up at your feet, I grew up at your feet. I'm probably going to cry, but I grew up at your feet. And I grew up at, dreaming at the pages of Essence magazine. And like I said, I'm from that muted generation, right? Where we didn't get in grown folks' business. We knew to stay back and maybe, hear the conversation, but never act like we knew.
Right.
And so, we just took notes and watched and were like, this is what grown women do. And so we watched, which meant a lot for us, because we got to see you be assistant for us. And so gracious. And what I said was, when you smiled, every time my mom got the Essence, I was running to the mailbox and I was like, that's, I had to keep it clean because it was hers. So I couldn't bend the pages, but I could flip them. But every time I looked at your smile in Essence magazine, it felt like the smile was mine. I was like, that was Mikki was smiling at insecure young Sybil and telling her that her beauty was worth fighting for, her beauty was worth believing in, that it was deeper than the skin, it's deeper. It's not, this is not it. It's a heart situation. Yeah. So you would talk so much about products and all these other things, but your glow and the essence of who you were was so much richer than anything that was on those pages, which is why when I met you, I was like, I could faint. I mean, I'm completely fangirled by you, because you were everything that you showed up to be every single time, Mikki.
Wow.
Every month.
Thank you. Thank you. Sybil, I think that comes from growing up in a beauty salon and remembering a time when Black women, where we were the invisible women, and watching how we affirmed ourselves, how we told our own stories, how we created our own, beauty works. We created makeup that worked for us long before it appeared on the shelves. And the same women who wore uniforms during the week or babysat or others, when they showed up in church on Sunday, in all of their finery, hair done, religiously going to the beauty parlors every 2 weeks, and making a way out of no way. When I got in the position that I did at Essence, those women were inside of me at that point. And on my watch, I refused to have beauty companies ignore us. I refused to have none of us not be represented in the mirror that was Black womanhood. So in holding us up on the pages of the magazine, I had the agency to stop women in the subway, stop women in stores, stop women on the bus. It wasn't only about those, at the modeling agency.
Yeah.
Because half the time the modeling agencies didn't have the spectrum of us, all shades, shapes, and sizes. So that was one of the joys of having that power in beauty to really be a force for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was important to me.
This book, Mikki. This book is so rich. So I want to, okay, before we get into the book, I have to highlight something that is so very important. I don't know if everyone knows that you have been married and have the love of your life, Taylor, alongside. Look at that blush. I just love that. I love that when his name comes up, you blush like a schoolgirl. I just love that. Oh, I love that so much. I love that so much. I love that. I mean, every time, if you say Taylor, Mikki's gonna just go like, oh, it just hits you. Mikki, how do you stay smitten? You're smitten and you've been smitten forever. How do you do that? I want to be smitten after Kwaku and I have like grown our kids up and all that stuff.
Oh, that man. That man. Okay, let me stop. Gosh, we'll be married 39 years in August. And I first of all, I married my answered prayer.
Oh.
He's my answered prayer. And I still get butterflies when he walks in the door. And I just, oh my,
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I just love this man. And this man loves me. And we made these babies, and we just made this house a home, and we giggle, and we do all stupid stuff, and we laugh, and, gosh, I just thank God, because I waited for this man all my life, it seems. I remember when we met. First of all, for 15 months, I stopped dating anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped dating anybody. Didn't see nobody, nothing. I had one of my best girlfriends. She had a boyfriend. And I said, you know what? We're going to be a threesome for a while because I'm not seeing anybody. I'm done with this. I can't figure it out. I'm just talking to God. Me and God is just going to be me and God. And I'm going to prepare myself to be a wife. Not a girlfriend, not a woman. I got the woman thing down.
Yeah.
But I'm going to prepare myself to be a wife. And I asked God to send me the man that should be my husband.
Y'all better write that prayer down.
And the interesting thing is, God in his divine orchestration, do you know that our families knew each other all the while we were growing up? His aunt, his mother's sister, used to work in my mother's beauty salon.
Wow.
And can I tell you that I never met Taylor till the time that God answered my prayer.
That's amazing.
Never.
Amazing.
Never. And oh my gosh. Yeah, I couldn't wait for him to ask me to marry him. And when he did, I almost missed it. It's so crazy. I almost missed it. And we're still honeymooning. We are. Our youngest came back home from college and she lives with us. And, we have to tell her sometimes, look, you better knock first because you don't know what's going on in here, okay? Like, it's like that, okay? If we're not, we still got it like that. And you better knock because you might see something, you're going to make your eyes go bulge out your head. You better knock first. But,
I love it.
I love that man.
Oh, that is so 39 years married, Mikki, and this blushing and this smile. And oh my gosh. When I met him in person, I was just like, you need to write the book, Taylor. You need to teach the classes. You need to do it all. Because let me just tell you, Mikki, you know, when you're in love, when you're in real love, I feel what you feel, but I'm a rookie in this, you know. So we're coming on 15 years. You know, that's newlyweds, like you said. We're still honeymooning, but I want this forever. I don't want to throw them back. This is it. That's my human. And I'm just so blessed by the way you feel about Taylor and how you carry him in your heart.
I do. And I think that, you know, part of it is that you have to live all realms of your love. It's not just the eros and the laws of attraction. It's the friendship. It's the self-discoveries. It's the getting into good trouble together.
Yeah.
It's the adventure. It's all of that. You know, we have such fun. I remember one time, because he's such an adventurous, like I don't do rides when we go to amusement parks and stuff. And we were landing in St. Bart's. And this was our 10th anniversary. And anybody who knows that landing in St. Bart's, it is like a death-defying dive. And we're sitting in this little prop plane, and he says, oh, you got to see this. You got to see this. And he's pulling me to the window, and the plane is going straight down. And it has to go between two mountains to hit this little runway. Ooh. And it has to stop on time. Otherwise, it's going to go into the sea. Oh. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm like Diana Ross in Mahogany. It's like, you know, but he gets a kick out of stuff like that. And so, yeah, we just have all kinds of silliness, fun, and all of that together. And I think that that's what happens with what I would call an elongated courtship. You go to different levels, but you're still courting one another. You're still interesting people to one another. You know, he does his thing, I do my thing, and we're amused by each other's thing. And, you know, like, and he's so solid. You know, I remember when we went to the Academy Awards and that red carpet seems to be forever. And I remember I couldn't look up. It was just too much between the media and the fans and stuff. And he walks the carpet. I'm on his arm, and he's walking like he's going to the store. He's like just so unfazed. And I'm just like, how you do that? And he's like, oh, what? Whatever. Yeah. And I think that there is such truth to that opposites attract. Mm-hmm. So, you know, one of the things I say is don't try to find yourself in someone else. You know, join two whole people together, first of all. Yeah. Oh. And I want us to not say that my better half, because that's an insult to your creator. He made you a whole. Yeah. You don't have a better half. You're going to join. Two whole people are going to join together, become one, and do the amazing. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, I love Mikki, what have you learned about vulnerability and feminine energy and being able to, you know, Mikki in the streets, Mikki in the streets is, you got receipts and that card is thick. Mikki at home, you know, and you're just so fluttery and light. So how do you learn the balance?
Well, you know, one of the things I always say when I'm out coaching singles is that my business card is not needed in my house. So I don't bring her in. I don't bring her home. She ain't got she's not needed there.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I love is that, you know, like that Sly Stone song, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself. Yes. That's what I am at home. I can be myself. Yes. I don't have to be that. I'm not trying to control anything. You know, I got 2 domains, the kitchen and the bedroom, and I got that down pat, and that's it. But yeah, you know, so I'm not trying to boss anybody. I'm not trying to manage anybody. And sometimes if I get a little bossy, I say, that was a little bossy. Was I too bossy? You know, or if I want to get on his nerves, I say, I'm going to get on your nerves. I'm getting on your nerves, right? Can I get on your nerves right now? Because I really need to get something out. And you know, just transparency. Yeah. Just transparency, you know? Yeah. And so, it's just, and honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just tease him. I'm like, I need you to take all your clothes off tonight. I'll take all my, he say, you first. I'm like, okay, but don't leave me getting cold. It's cold tonight. Silly stuff. But transparency.
Yeah.
And
women are sometimes afraid of being vulnerable and opening up. And that's where all the power is.
No, I'm clear. I know my strengths. I'm not trying to pretend to be anybody else. For example, like I'm terrible with instructions. So if there's anything that needs to be put together or fixed or whatever, I'm calling him because I'm like, no, I can't do this. Can you come do this? Can you put this together for me?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll meet you in one of my domains. I either meet you in the kitchen or
Right. I'm good in the kitchen. No, y'all get out. I'll call you when dinner's ready. I got this.
Yes.
Yeah. In the bedroom, I got that. But everything else in between, I need some help. Yeah.
That is so good. Oh my God. Y'all better be writing all of these notes. So Mikki, in the Force of Beauty, I know you're sharing so many powerful stories. What is like one of your favorites from your mother?
Oh, wow.
You speak so beautifully of her, and I really love how you sit in awe of her, even still. You're still at her feet, and I love that.
Yeah, very much so. Well, one of the things that she really taught me is because my mother, if she talked about something, it was because she was doing it. It wasn't because this was like some far off ideal. Mm-hmm. One of the things my mother taught me was to be risk adverse is to be success adverse. And she really proved that. My mother was, really the first entrepreneur in our family, in that after she came home off the road with Sarah, she opened her own beauty salon in the heart of Newark. Mm-hmm. And right before that, she worked for another salon owner for 3 months who treated her badly. And I talk about this because my mother was so big on sisterhood. And when it didn't work, she called it out. Mm. And so she quit, and she said that she would never work for anyone else again. And she didn't. Mm-hmm. She was really big on teaching people how to honor her and wanted us to do the same. So then she opened her own beauty salon. Mm. And she had a partner, and she had another sister friend in her celebration circle who invested in the salon. And that was really important because in the 60s, having friends who had that kind of leverage.
Come on.
And who believed in you.
Yes.
This was her first beauty salon. Money was hard to come by. But to have a celebration circle who will say, yes, well, I'll put this amount of money down and I'll put this amount. And the shingles went up. Mm-hmm. And the salon was bustling. She had 3 booths, and just the way she did them, the colors and, everything. And she became an award-winning hairstylist, award-winning colorist for Clairol and on and on and
wow.
on. And one could say unscripted. Yeah. And so I really watched her do that. And there was an expression coined in my house that said, make a way out of no way. And I've heard that throughout the culture. But when I was growing up, I didn't know that was part of our truth. But that's exactly what happened. Mm. And so, she taught me a lot about knowing my value. She taught me a lot about how to treat others and certainly how to teach them how to treat me and not losing myself in the ideals of others. My mother kept me from allowing myself to be a chauffeur to someone else's opinions in my life. She wouldn't hear of it. She wouldn't hear of it. And she would always ask you, is that your idea? Oh, really? Where did that come from? And is that something you're prepared to do? And,
wow.
Yeah. And then when she would get to the bottom of it, she said, well, if so-and-so really thought that was a good idea, she should do it. Yeah, she should do it. Yeah. But that's not going to work for you. I can tell you that right now. And the other thing is that there were no conversations that were off limits in our house. I could talk to my mother about anything. Sex, drugs, what have you, because she didn't want us to be influenced by others. She always said, you're either influencing others or they're influencing you, which is, Yeah, she was very, very, very clear. And because she had also seen some things. You know, my mother talked about that time that she worked with Billie Holiday one night. And Lewis asked her to do her makeup because Billie was in a bad way that night. And she actually couldn't go on after that. And I talk about it in the book, how Red Fox went on in her place. And he just told jokes all night. And you know, next night she did go on. And my mother really cared so much for her. That I remember the day she went to her funeral, and this was when we were still living in Newark, and just watching my mother in the mirror and how she got dressed. And I remember her just taking longer than normal to do her makeup. And I realized later that she was meditating on all that she had seen and that Billie had went through. And then she took this cab, you know, from Newark all the way to New York to go to the funeral. And it was part of it was televised, and it was such a solemnity in our house that day. Yeah, and I didn't really understand what was going on until much later.
Wow. That is so powerful and so rich. And even that, you know, that bridge that your mother created where you all could have dialogue, I think is so special. And something I know you've paid with your children to continue to create dialogue.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And one of the things I told my kids growing up, well, two things. You know, I said, there is no truth that you could tell me that's so bad that I can't handle it. But the least lie will offend me greatly. And so they always knew they could talk to me about anything and everything. And I think that's important to create that open door policy with your children, because the world they're coming up in is very different, and they need a sounding board, a non-judgmental sounding board. And so as a parent, I learned to be a good listener because I knew that was essential to them thriving. Because if they're going to be judged by their peers and assaulted everywhere else, home needed to be a place where they could lift the shade. And this is what's going on with me. And that's what my mother and my grandmother created for me. And so I know the importance of that.
I love that. I'm still working on that as a mom. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm growing up. But they teach you, right? The kids, they're teaching me who I need to be for them to make space for them to have, be the people that God is calling them to be. And I have to get out of the way. I have to get out of it, which is step aside and let God show you. Be a vessel. Yeah. So, Mikki, I want to touch for a second on colorism. It came up recently in a conversation in a Great Girlfriends community about colorism. And one of the things that I point back to when I was thinking of what we would talk about is how you made beauty very universal. That is on your watch. It has been made evident that beauty is to be universal between us. And if we can continue to treat each other with the universal standard of beauty, we don't have to deal with colorism doesn't have to be a thing for us. What are some of the ways that you keep that kind of in the center, or you eliminate the colorism? Because I don't think it ever showed up. Essence had every hue and every texture and every
hue. And I think because, certainly Susan Taylor, nor myself, nor any of the editors would make provision for that. So our harness was all shades, shapes, and sizes. And so we did. From the fairest complexion to the deepest complexion. And I think for me, closer to home, it was because my grandmother was born the next to the last of 18 children. And she was born, my great-grandmother was a deep complected. She was short, petite. My grandmother was fair in complexion. She grew tall, to 5'11", very fair complexion, and had 22 inches of long red hair. And she was rejected, taunted by her brothers and sisters. And because she was born a girl. If it wasn't enough that she was born fair and so forth, she was born a girl. And you have to understand her having been born to sharecroppers, she couldn't work the land. They were given more money the more boys they had, because the more the land could be worked. So she couldn't work the land. They sent her to school. They allowed her to have up to a 4th grade education. And then they pulled her out of school to do what she could. But, that rejection, when my grandfather proposed to her at age 16 and they came up to Newark and made a new life, that was the first time that she had been treated with tenderness, told she was beautiful, appreciated for all that she was. And so that really stuck with me because it was painful for her formative years to come of age and to be rejected in her own household because of her characteristics. Yeah.
It has come up a few different times in different ways, and people are asking themselves, what about media has continued to perpetuate this for us. And I know we have a responsibility in our community to have this unconditional love for one another and to see each other in the depths of who we are and to have a respect for the different facets of beauty, the way that people can show up. No two are the same. Even if we aren't even African American, no two are the same.
That's right. Right.
Yeah. Right. So to be created in his image gives us space to all be beautiful and amazing and alluring. And
and I also think it's an insult to the Creator.
Yeah.
Because he created each of us and he was satisfied. And so for us to, look at one another, to judge one another, to have a say of who's beautiful and who's not. Oh no, we're sitting in a chair that doesn't belong to us.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because also the Bible says, let there be no division among you.
Yeah.
That's a command.
Yeah.
So we cannot say, well, I'm beautiful, but she's not because of so-and-so. And so, no.
Yeah.
No.
I love he created us and he was satisfied.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a period at the end.
That's right. That's exactly right. No further explanation. A complete sentence, finished business. Yes, he was satisfied. And so each of us is unprecedented as we are.
Yeah.
As we are.
Yeah.
And for me, I think our beauty is a revolution. I mean, just the spectrum of shades, the hair textures, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I promise. I stand in awe. Even I look at women and I look and see the differences and all the eye shape, the cheeks, the noses, the lip, all the things that, we're just so rich. And we are so, our wealth in a beauty, it has no bound. And I'm again, like you said, he's satisfied. And I'm so satisfied. And I'm satisfied looking at my sisters.
There you go.
I'm so satisfied. I look at my sisters and I'm like, how can we're all just beautiful? And that one of the rich parts of going to Essence Festival, just going back, is seeing. Oh my goodness.
Seeing the rainbow. That's where you behold the rainbow. Exactly.
Oh, rainbow.
Exactly.
And all the style choices, all of it. I'm here for it all. And I'm looking behind you. All the images behind you. I'm here for every single image that's sitting on your wall. That collage is
this is us in all our glory. This is my power wall. I get to sit in this studio every day, and sometimes I just turn around and I just gaze because the wall it's from corner to corner, and it's just, again, all shades, shapes, and sizes, all expressions, all the realms of us in full power. So. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So my last question for you, Mikki, what would you call a great girlfriend?
Oh my gosh. A movement whose time has come. And I think because we've always said that, a great girlfriend, wow, that's exceptional. A great girlfriend. A great girlfriend is there for you no matter what. She reminds you of the truth of who you are. She doesn't make room for your pity parties. She doesn't allow others to assault you. She pushes you towards your dreams, and you do the same for her. So to have this large group of women that represents the great girlfriends, and I love your communication with the great girlfriends. I love your Monday morning check-ins and what are we thankful for and how are we doing this and what part of the world are we moving in today? That's important because that's the dialogue that affirms us. That's the dialogue that reminds us that not only are we necessary, but that we are inextricably bound to the success of one another.
Mikki!
Right. Because if for no other reason, your greatness was not designed to operate in isolation. So you need great girlfriends. That's the on and off switch. That's what makes it hum.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh, Mikki, I love you. Oh.
I love you back. I love you back. I'm glad that you are in the world. Indeed.
Oh, I love you so much.
I'm glad
so
there is you.
I have one last thank you for you. This is so important. 2019, was it 2020? I think it was 2019. I was praying. My father was in stage 2 of Parkinson's. You know this.
I remember.
And I was praying. I was so broken. Y'all don't understand that. Maybe you do, but I was hurt. I was hurt. And I didn't know what to do, how to feel, what to be. And God put it on my heart to call Mikki and just tell her. And I was like, Mikki is going to be like, why is this girl calling me out the blue to share, to tell this story? And I was like, Mikki, I need to talk to you. And she's like, okay, I'm available. I'm like, oh. So I get on the phone with her and I'm like, I just need to share this with you. This is what's happening with my father. And this is how I'm feeling. And Mikki, you did everything that you said a great girlfriend does. In that one phone call, without me asking you to do anything or to say anything because I didn't know what to ask of you. I didn't know. I just knew that God told me to call you. You filled me up in a way that gave me strength for the next season that I needed to be in when it was time for me to bid my father farewell. And you told me that would come. And you told me that I would need to be a strong daughter and that I would need to be rooted in God's love and reinforced by it. And when that time came, I soldiered up and I was a strong, empowered daughter because you gave me what I needed. And I want to just thank you and thank you time and time again because God used you in a remarkable way. And of course, when everything you said landed in my heart and my soul, I knew the season I was in, but I didn't know how I would use what you said until those moments came and it was like, aha. Here it is. This is the invitation to step into that. This is the invitation is here. The invitation is here. This is, you know what choices you get to make right now. Be the woman that you're being called to be in this moment. And I was prepared because that conversation, it went for way further than I don't even know if you knew it was going to go.
I am so moved and honored by that. And I still see the pictures, the tender pictures of you and your dad and you holding his hand and being there with him and his knowing how much you loved him and you in turn knowing how much he loved you. And I know those moments and I remind you as I remind someone tonight who is in that space that it's never about what you write on the last chapter. It's about how you wove the story together. And because sometimes in that moment, the pressure of that makes us forget. And I knew what that moment was for you because I was there when my father took his last breath. I buried my father on his birthday. And in the crypt, we all sung happy birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
He was at peace. He was at rest then.
Yeah.
And I know what that is. And I was thankful and honored that you called because I think that's part of what a great girlfriend does. She walks with you in the journey, especially when the road is not smooth.
Yeah, you made a powerful deposit. You deposited exactly what I needed and from a space that I needed at the time that I needed. And I thank you.
Thank you. My heart is full. just knowing that. And I was thankful to be there. I really, to this day, I am still thankful to have been there. And I love you for so many reasons, and you know that. And I just love your light and what you mean to so many people, even people who don't really know you. I need you to know that your light shines on them. And I just feel that in your posts. It's you don't make conversation. You really deposit information in everything you share. And keep doing what you do, because we need that. We need that.
Thank you, Mikki. Oh my gosh. I could hold you all night. I'm hugging you.
And I'm hugging you back.
Y'all make sure you have to get Force of Beauty. We have to get on Audible, get that book. And I know there's a way you can gift an Audible certificate to other people. So, I'm asking you to make those deposits, because this is the kind of heritage. We get to have these conversations. We get to take notes from you, Mikki. We get to inhale all of this. This is the wealth of the culture. And I know I don't want this missed on anyone. This is a gift. This is a gift. And you are indeed a gift. You are such a gift and a birthday twin. So at some point we're going to get on another island and do some kind of celebratory.
Yes, we will. Indeed we will. We will.
Please give my love to Taylor. Tell him thank you.
I sure will. Give my love to the family and hug everybody tight for me.
I will. Until I see you again, I love you, Mikki.
All right, my darling. I love you too.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast, into the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends. You follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great_GFS. Last but not least, we'd like to thank my amazing husband, Kwaku, Sam and Dilly, and all of you for being a part of the global community that makes us so strong. Please remember to share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.